Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Pet Sematary Bloodlines, starring Henry Thomas, Samantha Mathis, David Duchovny, Natalie Ann Allen Lind, and Pam Grier, directed by Lindsay Anderson Beer. Now, before I get into this movie, why do another Pet Cemetery movie? Because that remake was terrible, and the sequel to the original movie was terrible, and I'm worried about this series. Like, Stephen King has hated on The Shining, which was the best movie that he made. That and the first It Chapter 1, those are the two good ones that Stephen King has. But he has crap after crap after crap after crap. It's like, I don't know if I can watch this guy's work any further. But I'm here to talk about this sequel because I reviewed the previous movies. So let's get into this movie that's streaming on Paramount Plus right now. Let's get into the movie. In Ludlow, Maine, in the year 1969, we open the movie with Bill Baderman, played by David Duchovny, burying his son in this pet cemetery with his dog, and he wakes up after being buried as well, and the son kills the dog. We move on to daytime with Judson Crandall, or Judd for short, with his girlfriend Norma, and heading to Michigan the next day to be one of the Peace Corps. And while they're there, they bump into Bill, as he has a photo of himself and his two best friends, Manny and his son, Timmy. And not Manny's son, and I'm talking about Bill's son. While he has dinner with his parents, Kathy, who's played by Samantha Mathis, and Dan, who's played by Henry Thomas, as he takes him to a hockey practice. And I'm going to be honest, I really don't like these characters, and this is not convincing me to like it at all, which is a real shame. And I'm thinking, why the fuck am I watching this piece of shit movie? As they leave Ludlow, they bump into the Baderman's dog, and they walk the dog back to their house. As they arrive at the house, they see Timmy is home, and the dog bites Norma in the arm, while Timmy just fucking watches until he shoots a gun in the sky and put her in the hospital. And the doctor tells her to stay for a few more days, while Manny and his sister Donna smoke some cigarettes or weeds or something. And Manny sees blood on a sunflower and gets stabbed in the hand by something on the ground, and he ends up at the hospital, as well as they bump into each other and they talk about what's going to say goodbye. And this script is horrendous. Like, how the fuck did you get this movie made is beyond me. Judd tries to talk with Timmy, but instead bumps into Bill, and Bill tells him he's not taking any visitors, which, yeah, bullshit, come on. And the way the movie is directed is very unprofessional, in my opinion. Timmy wants to kill Judd and peels off his fingernails and draws on things on his blood, while Timmy walks with the dog Hendrix, while running into Marjorie Washburn, played briefly by Pam Grier, and insulting her and her father, and he comes off like an asshole to her. And this is turning into a piece of shit movie, like I already brought up just a second ago. Manny goes to Donna's party in the outside, and they talk and dance with some masks that was probably from the first movie, that might have been from Dead Animals. While Timmy approaches Donna to dance while there's no music playing, and tells her the masks are not going to save them, as Manny pushes Timmy to the ground, and he says they'll die here, while Marjorie says she killed the Baderman's fucking dog and has a meeting with the cop, Benson, as well as Dan, yeah, that's right. And I don't understand this plot, as this is not a good plot to begin with. Judd comes out to the house with a gun and almost gets hit by a truck, and finds Manny and tells Timmy is acting crazy, and they go to church with the priest telling them the story of how the pet cemetery started to exist thanks to a man who's named after Ludlow, while as well as Dan's father or great grandfather, whatever the fuck his name is, while Donna is stabbed and killed by Timmy. And this is absolutely a mess of a movie that is not scary, but absolutely fucking stupid. And I checked out of this movie by the first 30 minutes of it, because I don't care about this movie, what this movie has to offer at this point. We learn Dan has something to do with the origin story as his great-grandfather, I'm gonna guess is who that is. I don't fucking know, and I don't care, was one of the originals. While Bill sees Timmy was eating Hendrix score, and I'm now very pissed off at the movie at this point. Judd and Manny talk with Dan and Kathy about how they are the founders of the town, and Manny sees Donna was killed by Timmy, and Donna comes to the hospital where Norma is at, and she tries to help Norma tries to help Donna until Donna acts out and kills people at the hospital, even Norma. And I don't care whether these motherfuckers live or die or not. Judd and Manny come with Dan and Bill the cop, Benson, and Marjorie to find Timmy, and they look for him, and Marjorie is killed, and the cop is killed by Timmy and Donna coming in and attacking Judd and Manny, and Dan shoots her dead until Donna stabs her, and Judd shoots Donna dead in the eye. And the building gets on fire, and Norma, as we learn, is not dead, but tied up, and Judd looks for her while Manny, and by her I mean Norma, while Manny is depressed about Donna's death, and they stop Timmy, and Judd almost drowns to death. How many times in the ending? I don't know, and I don't give a fuck. Until Manny shoots Timmy with the flare gun, and Norma is found by Judd, and the next day comes, and they stay in Ludlow, and Manny gets the hell out of Ludlow, and says, stay the fuck out of Ludlow, and this climax of this makes this movie one of the worst movies I've seen this year. Now it's time for my rating. I'll give this movie a 1.2 out of 10. This is one of the worst movies I've seen this year, as the script was horrendous, but it's not the very worst. That's The Nun 2, by the way, folks. And I really don't like any of these fucking characters, as they come off like assholes to me, and the way this movie is directed was very unprofessional, in my opinion. I do not understand this plot, as this is not a good plot to begin with, and this is a mess of a movie that is not scary, but absolutely fucking stupid. As I didn't care for what this movie had to offer, nor this series any further, or any Stephen King movie for that matter, except for if there's a good one out there, I'll give that a look at. This is one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and I can't believe they made a sequel to a movie I never liked. And same goes with the series. I never liked either, but it is not Pet Sematary too bad. But it was almost there, as this is a strong non-recommendation as this movie and I wish they would stop making these movies to begin with. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for the return to Pet Sematary, which I did do back in 2019. And until then, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery.